Shazam?
Peacemaker. What a joke.
I'm nobody. I came because I have no choice. I came to save my home and the people that I love.
Truth, justice,
the American way.
I'm vengeance.
Hello and welcome to Elseworlds, a DC fan podcast. My name is Jordan, and with me, as always, is Chris. How are you today, Chris?
I'm doing great. It's exciting to be here, and got to give you some props. That new video is pretty awesome. It's a cool intro.
Thanks.
Give some credit to Jordan because that man is logging in the hours, doing the thing for the show, the new backdrop. I'm loving it. So I'm doing great. Let's get it going.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So we're going to start with we'll do it the same way. 2 episodes this week. Arrowverse update. This will probably be shorter than the last one, and then our other plan is Penguin trailer, some Creature Commandos, and then of course the main event, talking Flash Rebirth, and our thoughts all on Flash Rebirth. So that's what we'll be diving into. But I guess we'll start with my Arrowverse update, which was I got done Crisis on Earth X. So that is complete. I have some thoughts on this, by the way.
Okay.
So what I'll share as well is that somebody on our Instagram, when I posted I was watching Invasion, said that the next one is the best, and talked about it being Crisis on Earth X. And I will just say I straight up disagree with that. So maybe it was because it was built up like that. I thought it was overall good. I'll say that. I think overall it was good. It wasn't like it wasn't like bad or anything. It's still I would say probably the second best of the crossovers, maybe. My main issue with it is I really like the first episode with, Barry's wedding and everything. And I think the last episode was pretty good. I just have some complaints. And the main complaint is don't kill Stein. Not sure why they did that.
Yep.
Even though it was emotional, I will say it was emotional, but they could have just had him ride off in the sunset if he was leaving. I don't think they had to kill him. And the other complaint I had is, and maybe you can answer this, Chris, why is Ray not invited to Barry's wedding when they've met and they've had tons of conversations? He was in an episode of The Flash.
Yeah,
But Sarah
it's a problem for me too. It's a problem
Sarah
for
and
me
some
too.
others are
Especially
invited.
especially because Felicity and Ray have a history, and Felicity and Barry are friends, so they're kind of friends by association on that front as well. So Ray definitely should have been invited to the wedding. I think it's in bad taste not to just invite the whole Legends. Um, but
Yeah, you know
I
how we
took
all
issue with
saved
that.
Earth together last year? Well, not all of you are invited.
Yeah, it's I think a lot of it was probably plot wise. They had to figure out how to get Ray in there later to save Supergirl. Um, but I feel like you can get yourself out of that writing corner pretty easily. So I don't know. I had some issues with it too. I found the Nazi stuff a little jarring. Um,
Yeah, really comes out of nowhere. Really comes
it
out of nowhere, and I think it's fun at first when I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be Oliver and Supergirl as evil, but that quickly runs out of fun. Like that,
yeah.
it overstayed its welcome, I would say.
It leaves a weird taste in your mouth. It's a little hard to they're a little too evil. Um, and they're characters that you recognize as the good guys, and then they put them in the alternate versions, and it's a little jarring. I thought that it was an emotional, really good told story. I like Leo from Earth X. I think that's pretty cool stuff. There's a lot of cool things in here. I like the Alex and Sarah hookup. I thought that was, yeah, that made sense. But I think they didn't stick the landing in the middle of it, but the ending of it was really strong. I actually have emotional connections to Crisis on Earth X for another reason, though. The morning after it aired originally, my dog Hummer died, and I had stayed up all night with him. Hummer was sick, obviously. He had a vet appointment. That was the ironic thing. And I was like, oh, he's got a vet appointment in the morning. Let's see if we can get through the night. And he didn't make it to even go to the vet. That so I was thinking about that when I'm watching it, and that has nothing to do with the show, but I can't think about Crisis on
Yeah,
Earth X without that. It's
that stuff
just,
sticks with you. You know, like
yeah.
there's times where I can remember what I was watching at like a tough moment in my life, and you would like to think that you can like revisit it years later. Like, okay, so there was this. I was in a car accident when I was little, on the way home from the beach, and I don't know, I was probably like middle school, and it was just me and my mom. My dad and my sister had driven separately, and we got in an accident, and it was while I was watching Spider-Man 2 special features on a portable DVD. And it took me years before I was able to even turn on those special features again. And I'm a big special features kid. I love watching the special stuff on the DVDs when I buy them and all that. And it took me a while to be able to watch any of those because it just every time I thought about it, it would be taking me back to the accident. It wasn't even a bad accident. It was just kind of scary, especially as a kid.
Well, yeah, but
So
it's jarring and it's going to stick with you.
yeah, and it can affect how you, the mindset you're in, even if you rewatch this thing years later, and you can't help but think about, oh, that happened when there. So, yeah, sometimes we're all bringing our own like baggage into when we're watching these shows that
Yeah,
can influence how we feel.
I gave my dog Goose a little extra loving this morning. I gave her a little extra petting behind the ears. You made sure her breakfast was good. Yeah, I was very thoughtful of that. But the the crossover itself, I wouldn't say that this is the best, but the stakes for this one are through the roof. And I think that's what I appreciate about this. They really swung for it. They really went for it. And I think they delivered on pretty much everything they promised. Um, I did have a bit of a problem with Oliver and Felicity hijacking the
Yeah, it's a
impromptu
little
wedding.
little weird, huh?
No,
Where she's
it's,
like, "I know you're
yeah.
about to say I do, but can you actually marry us too?" I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa."
Well, how hard would it have been to just say after that, hey, since that was so beautiful and we're inspired by what we just saw, can we do that too? That would be different than,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
let's be part of this thing. Especially when they just were invited to a wedding that got interrupted by an invasion from another Earth. Come on, guys. I don't know. Felicity and
And
Oliver were very annoying in this crossover. They were
they had
very
already
annoying.
they had already ruined the rehearsal dinner when she yells out, I don't want to marry you." And I'm like, "Oliver, why are you even asking that at somebody else's wedding right now?"
Well, Oliver, so there was one scene that I really liked in this when Oliver's like, he's gonna do this, and they're like, "How do you know?" He's like, "Because that's what I would do."
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, that I like that. I found it a little weird that Oliver was the de facto leader of the group when I think Barry kind of would probably be the leader, connected to the most people in the group, I would think. And he has superpowers. I don't know. I think Barry and Kara could both arguably be the leader, but Barry knows the most people there and has the most relationships with the people in the group. So I don't know. I found it a little interesting. I think Barry kind of takes a backseat to Oliver sometimes, and it kind of annoys me because I think Barry is the better hero.
Well, I think it all comes down to the Iron Man effect, and what I mean by that is, um, they're the first ones to launch the universe, so they make them the de facto leader of of the team. So
Yeah.
it seems like that's why they kind of do that for like Oliver and um because you're right. You think Barry even was the what leader during Invasion,
Mhm.
even though that was kind of played for jokes with him following everything uh, that Oliver says anyway. But I want to get your thoughts here on, I guess, something else that kind of stood out to me about the crossover. I guess is um and I just like that. I just lost my thought. Let me see if I can bring it back. But it was, I guess, yeah. I guess that the bad thing about these crossovers at times it seems like it's being driven by what character they want to put in center stage, right? So like we said, Sarah gets invited to the wedding. I don't remember her ever interacting with Barry prior to Invasion, while Ray has that rapport. But it's like, of course, they wanted to focus on Sarah because she's the leader of the Legends. So you know, they want probably figure out like who they want to break off into groups and then try to think like, all right, so we got to do it like this to play it out. But I think, like you said, there's other ways to do it without writing it. And I guess the good thing about it is that like the Legends episode felt like Legends because that's when all of the Legends actually appeared, and the Flash episode kind of felt like the Flash because we got well, no, it didn't actually. The Flash one didn't really feel like the Flash at all. It was Supergirl felt like the Flash because we
Right.
had
It
Joe,
was
we had
very,
Tommy,
yeah.
we had everybody for that.
Well, the wedding should have been the Flash's episode, you would think.
Yes,
I
yeah,
This is my big complaint with the crossovers. It should just be one big episode that you can watch on Netflix. But the way it's broken up into seasons, you can't do that. Um, but I had a bit of an issue with um, I had a bit of an issue with Sarah Lance being invited too. But I will say that she's connected very much to Oliver and and to Felicity, and Oliver's the best man, right? So
yeah.
it
But
kind of makes
I didn't
sense.
invite I didn't invite my best man's friend.
No,
You
I
know what I'm
get
saying?
it,
Like
but
it's weird at
I'm
the
just
same
trying to
time.
come up with a reason. Come up with a reason. But yeah, the Legends really don't have that strong of an attachment to anyone in Central City. Stein actually,
Stein has a big one. Yeah,
And I think Stein was invited though. Stein and Ray
he was.
were, yeah, because
Stein
that would
and
have screwed
Jax
up. Yeah,
were invited. Now, if they were not invited, I would have
that would
really
have been
had
a
some
problem.
problems. I would have
They
really
should have
had
just
some problems.
invited the whole Legends team. You're right. I'm trying. See, when you bring this stuff up, I'm trying to justify it because I love Sarah so much. I almost, if you didn't bring it up, I don't think it would ever cross my mind. So I'm
Well,
like, oh,
that's what they probably didn't. It probably didn't cross their mind when they're writing it. They're probably like,
yeah.
"We love Sarah. We got to have her in it. We want to hook her up with Alex, so this is how we'll do it."
Well, they
Um,
definitely had
yeah.
that. I felt a little frustrated with the whole Alex Maggie thing because I thought Maggie was so perfect for Alex's character. Like they were, and it felt like
Mm.
they just found a way to write her out of Supergirl.
Well, yeah, they just
And
came up with the kids thing out of
yeah,
nowhere. Yeah.
it came out of nowhere and it became the big thing, the driving force that wedged them apart. But I remember at the time the actress got another gig and that they wrote her out of the
Oh, is that
show.
why?
Yeah, that it was a thing, but I just was so frustrated because I was like, I really like Maggie and her. I thought they were like really compatible people. So I was just like, it's. I was right. I remember watching it when it aired, going, well, that was quick. Um, so and the idea of oh, your sister can really drink and nobody can outdrink Sarah. I was like, well, I don't know. That's something you should be leaning into as a writer of a show for a character that you're trying to portray in a good light. Sarah, it kind of works, but Alex is like, oh God, she's going to be a drunk, isn't she? You know that
Yeah, that line didn't really pay off anyway.
I did get a kick out of Sarah asking how was her rear end because she fell out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
And like she didn't even need to say that, but it was so Sarah Lance to just say that. And I was just like I was like, that's kind of a dick thing to say in front of her sister, but
Right.
like and then it's and Kara's like, she's perfectly fine. I mean, she is an assassin, but
Yeah, my main thought about Alex in this crossover is it was good to see her with these characters, but it felt like she was written kind of differently. She was much more stumbling, bumbling mess. I
But that's the thing.
felt for
She's so
Alex.
confident. She's so confident in the Supergirl series. In the Supergirl series,
Yeah,
she is shaken by her breakup with Maggie, but she's still Alex. She's still the driving force of that show for the most part. I think Kyler Lay is as important to that show as Melissa Benoist. And when Supergirl falters, a lot of the time is because they didn't write Alex into the story.
moving off of the crossover, just kind of like the start of these seasons here. I was kind of actually surprised that Wally left. And I think I read he's going to be teaming up with the Legends this season, which I did not see that coming. So how that even happens. I thought maybe that would happen in the crossover then, but
The Legends writers didn't see it coming either. It's not the most well done thing.
so I guess we'll have to see him over there, and then I see he does come back every so often in the show. Guess that was like they're like we have too many speedsters right now, and Barry's at the top of his game. We got to move Wally somewhere. Is that why you think they
I
did
think
that?
it was a money thing. Two speedsters on the shows got too expensive. That's what I'm thinking it is. I don't like the way they did Wally in the show because I think there's so much more you could have done with the character, and the actor does a pretty good job. And the connection with Joe and Iris could be explored more. And then we have to act as if it's really deep and like it's really developed when it isn't. And then Wally gets treated a lot like in Superman and Lois, the Cushing's other daughter. It's like, yeah, he's there sometimes, just out of nowhere. I just don't like the respect that they gave the character, to be honest.
I really liked Wally so far, so I guess that's why I was shocked that he was
Oh, I agree
written
with you.
out.
I like
So
Wally. I don't think the show gave him the love and respect that he
yeah.
needed. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, I guess, on how that continues. But yeah, and then they bring in Ralph Dibny, right? Elongated Man. That shocked me, and I know he got fired for tweets and stuff. It was
Well,
around when that happened. I saw that on Twitter.
well,
But
I hope that doesn't ruin the drama of the later in the season for you.
okay,
Um,
no, I mean, like I can kind of separate the
okay.
actor from the work, but it's just I've actually really enjoyed Elongated Man
I
so
I
far.
thought Elongated Man brought a breath of fresh air to the Flash. I thought he was a character that really developed, and you really started to root for the guy. And he was a lot of the emotion in season 4. So I'm a big Ralph Dibny fan of what they did on the show. And when he got written off, I was like, God dang it! I was like, all that for nothing. But it was he's a character that I really liked. And I thought season 4 with the Thinker really awesome because it was different, but it was still kind of about speed. It was just a different kind of like, oh, we got to figure out how to get to the pocket dimensions. I don't know if you got into that point yet.
No, we haven't yet. No, so the
Okay.
last thing I've seen, it was like the episode right before Crisis was when they actually figure out who the is and how he's and Barry gets like in trouble for like stalking him and gets the restraining
Oh yeah,
order
yeah.
and all. So that was all very fun, and I've kind of liked not having a speedster as a breath of fresh air as a villain.
there are things about the season that I love, and there are things about the season that I hate. When he goes to jail, it gets a little. Uh, I don't want to spoil anything. I'm going to stop talking.
I heard he goes to jail, and that was from. I think they showed that in the end of season 1 when he's going through time, or season 2 when he's going through time. They show him sitting in jail, and they also show, like the legends, and they show like all those things that are like to come later on. And
You're going to get to
series,
that whole story right after the crossover. So, in fact, the Flash episode right after the crossover is one of the most frustrating scenes in the whole show, and we'll get there when we get there.
Good to hear, I guess. And then I guess with Legends, I was my favorite episode I think so far of the show is the ET episode. I really liked that one a lot.
That was amazing.
They were like firing on all cylinders.
Well, first off, any Ray centric episode is going to be a good episode because Ray is just awesome. And the little baby Dominator was adorable, and the musical thing. It was one of those things.
Nate hitting on
his mom,
Ray's mom,
and then kissing the Dominator, but thinking, oh god, there was a lot of good there, and I thought that was really when Legends kind of found itself, because Legends was like, oh, we can do these inventive, cool stories, we can get wacky with it, and the characters can be like the running gag about Nate and the Billy Joel album the whole time.
Yes.
Stuff
I'm
like
a Billy
that.
Joel fan too, so that was
it was
great.
It was cool to see character development in these little ways. They started to know the characters. I wonder how your rankings of the characters of Legends have changed for season 3.
They've largely stayed the same, I think. I'm very frustrated with the way that they handle Rip, in the sense of him being so disconnected and him being, kind of like anti-Legends for a bit there. Not sure why they felt like they had to go that way, but that kind of sucks. But I think largely it's the same. I would have, I forget who I even had number 1. Ray, I guess I had number 1.
Ray, you had
Ray's
Rip
still
and
number
Ray.
1. Rip seasons 1 and 2 is still up there. So I'm not going to rank him because he's not part of the main cast. He's special guest star now. So I would say out of the core Legend, I have Ray number 1, Stein number 2. Guess I'll have to change that soon. And then I have Nate number 3. Those are kind of my rankings, and I guess Jack's number 4.
I can't get you on the Sarah train.
No, she's not. It's not like she's bad or anything. It's just she doesn't really do much for me. So I've heard.
I don't get that one.
And then depending on the episode, Mick is funny.
Mick's my least favorite character.
I guess also I didn't really like. I guess I was happy to see Snart in Crisis, but the fact that he sticks around and he acts totally different than regular Snart, so I wasn't really digging it. And what I mean by that is I don't know, it's because he's more heroic, and he also felt like Wentworth Miller just couldn't bring when he's acting Snart from Earth 1, it's like a very snide, cool, Snart.
Everything sounds like this.
Yes, but Crisis Snart wasn't like that, and I wasn't digging that as much. But I thought
you wanted
cool
that too cool
to
for
Nick.
School.
Right, exactly. I need regular Snart back.
You wanted it to get chilly in here.
Yeah, all the puns. So, that was kind of a letdown. Is like I was like, oh, there's Snart, and then he was acting totally different, which I get it. It's Crisis. It's a different act. I'm totally different, but I was just kind of, I don't know. Does he come back as like hanging around? He says he's going to stay there. Is he in any of the shows as
Yes,
that
yes
Planet
and
X
no.
one?
Yes
Okay.
and no. I'm just gonna say yes and no and move on.
That's fine. That's all I need.
I so he's kind of like Wells, where they do whatever version they want to do whenever they want to do it, and you'll still.
That was the thing I lost my train of thought on was
Uh,
why is it Earth 1 Eobard and how is it Earth 1 Eobard being Reverse Flash, like SS Flash? Like what is it after they reset it with Sarah and after they defeat him in Legends? Was he freed Flash? Is he fine now? Even though Eddie Pond is dead? Like
so the thing with Reverse Flash is he keeps popping up, and he always has a way out. I think Flashpoint reset that particular Flash, that particular Reverse Flash. So I think Flashpoint Season 3 resets Reverse Flash, and then that other one on Legends, technically the same character, but he's the one who didn't take over Wells, I guess. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's confusing because like I get it if it's a time remnant, like I get it because that's how he showed up again in season 2. Is he was a time remnant, Reverse Flash. So if they're at like a different stage of life, I understand that, but like he recalled acting like Wells and he recalled all of that stuff to Barry, so it was kind of weird.
At a certain point, the show stops explaining why he's in all these episodes.
Okay.
Because he's going to just keep coming back and keep going. I mean, I think he's done now. I think season 8 was it for that Reverse Flash, but he's a problem all the way until season 8.
Okay,
the show kind of uses Reverse Flash as a crutch. When the show gets boring, they bring out Reverse Flash.
I do like him, so I'm fine with that. It was just kind of like a question I had because, they explained it very well in season 2, and then I even understood it in Legends. They're like, he mentions Barry taking him out of time, so I know it's the same one from Flashpoint.
Well, he shows up in Legends in the last season of Legends, so
really,
yeah. Yeah, it's getting a little confusing. I think there was a time when I understood it, and I think I did what they wanted me to do. I think I just stopped caring why.
it probably happens when they like change showrunners and they're like, how do we explain this? Don't worry about it,
Well, when Eric Wallace comes into the Flash starts doing things that I'm just like, I don't get it. It's like, I don't get why you would make that choice. So when Hellbean is gone and Eric Wallace is a showrunner, it's definitely a different show.
Yeah, so that was that. Just quickly before we wrap up this, I just want to say season 6, it's all right, I guess. The Diggle storyline taking on Arrow is not really doing it for me. And I was wondering how they were going to do that with the crossover, and they just didn't really explain it. So
that's what they do.
So I was like, all right, that's fine. That's cool. I'm glad it's Oliver under the Green Arrow then. And then Supergirl season 3, I was very frustrated with like the first 2 episodes. She was really down. Like because of the breakup with Mon-El and him leaving and stuff. But like she was really like, it was 6 months later and she was like really giving people attitude. And I was like, oh my God, like chill out.
Yeah, they started to play around with Kara not being bright and chirpy.
Yeah.
And the problem is she was so bright and chirpy that you can't turn it all the the other way. It just doesn't work. And I like Supergirl season 3, so stick with it. Have you gotten? So you haven't gotten the villain of season 3, have you? Supergirl?
Uh, I don't think so. I
Then
mean,
you have it.
I think it's the next episode. I think they well, I don't know. The one girl that's Lena's friend with the
Yeah,
daughter,
that's her.
Rain, that's her. Okay, so I
Yeah,
saw her realize she's a Kryptonian, and that's the
yeah.
last thing I've seen of her. So
So she's the big bad. Once that starts, the season turns and gets exciting. And there's an epic showdown between her and Supergirl in the middle of the season. That is just like it's like wow, they put all of their budget into that episode. It was incredible. So I'm looking forward to talking about that next time. With Arrow season 6, I just think the show beats up its characters. Like Diggle, they put him through the ringer for absolutely no reason. The whole drug problem too. It's getting a little
yeah,
frustrating. It feels like what they did with Laurel. They treat these characters poorly for no reason. And Oliver kind of gets off scot free with the writers a lot of times. It feels like so. Um, that's my thoughts on Arrow season 6. Not my favorite season of Arrow.
yeah. I think if we're quickly doing an Arrow ranking for me, I would have season 2, then 1, then 5, then 4, then 3. And I can't say 6 yet because I don't know. But that would be my rankings.
I think ours are about the same. 3 might be a little higher for me. And we've talked about that. I like the
Mhm.
Ra's al Ghul stuff, even though it was clearly a Batman thing. Uh, but
Yeah.
but season 6 of Arrow starts off without good faith in the first place, and the reason that's the case is because they have this epic cliffhanger at the end of season 5, and then the expendable one dies. William's mother dies. That's it. That's it. That's it. No. Like if one of the major characters had died with her, it would have worked. But I cannot tell you how deflating it was to wait all summer for season 6, speculate who's gonna be, and it's the one they could get away with. It's the one they could get
Yeah.
away with without changing the show. No, do not set up stakes and then not deliver on them. I thought Arrow season 6 could not recover from that beginning. I it left out of all the things in the Arrowverse, it was one of my sore things. It's not like I wanted to see any of them die. It's that once that show decided that there were no stakes, I didn't care.
Yeah. I get it. So we'll wrap up the Arrowverse talk, but it was I would say I really dug, like I said, the wedding episode was a lot of fun
Hmm.
for the crossover.
Oh,
And
I
I mean,
really like
Kara singing "Running Home to You" was
perfect,
awesome.
perfect.
Really love that, and just seeing the characters interact. I didn't need them to fight. Actually, I'd be more fine if the wedding episode was a crossover and they were there and there was just no fight. Like that would be totally fine with me.
I was a little confused about how Oliver and Cisco were in such simpatico that Cisco, I need a breach right now, and then just like right where he
Yeah.
needed to be. It's like you work with Oliver that well. I know Cisco's awesome, and Cisco is my favorite Flash character, not named Barry.
Hmm.
Um,
Same.
but I he's so important to the show, and when he's gone, it's just not the same. But
Can't really imagine it. But
uh,
I guess I'll have to.
honestly, he plays off Barry so well that when he's not on Team Flash, Barry is a little less likable all of a sudden. And it's not that I dislike Barry; it's just it's a little less likable all of a sudden because you don't have that playful bounce off Cisco. And they try to get it with other characters, it just never works. But Cisco is so cool that he barely knows Oliver Queen, and you're Breach right where you need it.
Yeah, I think it has to be that they out more than we ever see. Right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
between these episodes, they're hanging out. Because they'll not be as if like how does he know what a breach is?
Right.
Oliver never seen that. It's because of like the um I guess just the talk that they do off the camera, where they update each other on their lives.
In the later seasons of these shows, when the crossovers kind of stop happening, they come up with the females, the women of the groups. They have like a book club,
Mm-hmm.
like a monthly book club together. So, I mean, they come up with ways to make it seem connected when the crossovers kind of slow down. I miss the crossovers because they were a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
probably
'Cause there's only more left, I think.
yeah. Let's see. It's
There's Elseworlds
Crisis,
and
Elseworlds, and
Crisis Infinite, right?
oh wow, darn!
Yeah.
It used to just be a thing you waited for every year.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing to cross over anymore. There's one show.
There's not even one show technically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once it's over. All right, so we'll wrap that up here, and our next episode is going to be Penguin trailer, Creature Commandos talk, and then the main event, Rebirth. So let's dive into that.